There is a moment in every human life when you realize that the strength you have been building is actually a weakness. You know this moment. It is the feeling you get when you are trying too hard to be respected and you can sense the room losing interest. It is the exhausting, high-revving anxiety of trying to control a conversation, a relationship, or a career, and feeling the steering wheel fighting you every inch of the way. You have spent your entire life believing that power is force. You have been taught that to be powerful means to be loud, to be imposing, to be the hammer that drives the nail. You wake up every morning and put on your armor. You tighten your jaw. You prepare for the battle. But late at night, when the armor comes off, you are left with a terrifying secret. You are tired. You are soul-deep tired. And you suspect, in the darkest corner of your mind, that true power shouldn't feel this heavy. You suspect that if you were truly powerful, you wouldn't have to try so hard. And you are right. The friction you feel is not the friction of power. It is the friction of resistance. It is the sound of you fighting against the natural flow of reality. And the most dangerous truth you will ever learn is this. True power does not feel like fire and fury. True power feels like nothing at all. Most people are terrified of this nothingness. They believe that if they stop pushing, they will stop moving. They believe that if they let go of the tension in their chest, they will collapse. But this is the lie that keeps you small. The radical transformation waiting for you is not about adding more muscle or more discipline or more strategies. It is about subtraction. It is about removing the interference that is blocking the signal. When you finally align with the reality of who you are, the noise stops. The anxiety evaporates. You move through the world with a frictionless, terrifying momentum that looks like magic to everyone else, but feels like stillness to you. You stop being a boulder that has to be pushed up a hill, and you become the hill. You become the gravity. But to get there, you have to unlearn everything you know about strength, and you have to be willing to look at the historical evidence that proves your current strategy is doomed to fail. Consider the story of the great samurai swordsman Miyamoto Musashi. In his early years, Musashi was a creature of force. He was a brute. He won his duels through sheer aggression, overpowering his opponents with speed and violence. He was the hammer. But as he aged, as he fought 60 duels and survived wars, something shifted. He realized that force was finite. Muscles tire, swords break, the young eventually become old. If his power relied on effort, he was on a clock. So he began to study the concept of mu, or emptiness. He stopped fighting his opponents and started fighting the space between them. In his final legendary duel against Sasaki Kojiro, the demon of the western provinces, Musashi did not use a steel sword. He carved a wooden bokken from an oar on the boat ride over. He arrived late, disheveled, looking like a beggar. Kojiro, insulted and tense with the desire to prove himself, drew his magnificent steel blade and attacked with a lethal high-tension cut. Musashi did not block. He did not counter with force. He simply stepped into the empty space Kojiro had left behind and brought the wooden oar down on Kojiro's skull. It was one strike, no clash of steel, no struggle, just the end. Kojiro died because he was full of self, full of anxiety, full of technique, full of the need to win. Musashi lived because he was empty. He was not trying to win. He was simply doing what was necessary. He moved like water filling a cup. He proved that the highest form of mastery is not adding more, but removing the self from the equation entirely. We are all Kojiros fighting invisible Musashis. We are enslaved by the effort paradox. We believe that the harder we try, the better the result. But the universe operates on a different law, the law of reverse effort. When you try to float in water, if you thrash and tense your muscles, you sink. Only when you surrender, when you do nothing, do you float. This applies to everything. When you try desperately to be charming, you come off as creepy. When you try desperately to be respected, you look insecure. When you try desperately to hold on to a lover, you suffocate them. The tension you introduce is the very thing that pushes the object of your desire away. You are creating a counterforce equal to your effort. This is the framework you must understand, the void. In the void, there is no resistance because there is no you to resist. There is only the action. But entering the void is not easy. It requires a terrifying escalation of trust. You have to walk into the high-stakes situations of your life, the boardroom, the confrontation, the crisis, and you have to deliberately drop your weapons. You have to relax your belly. You have to slow your heart. You have to look the danger in the eye and refuse to contract. The primitive part of your brain will scream at you. It will tell you that you are naked, that you are vulnerable, that you will be destroyed. This is the test. This is the firewalk. You must stand in the face of aggression and offer it no surface to hit. You must become like the air. If someone throws a punch at the air, they only hurt their own arm. If someone insults the empty sky, the sky does not get angry. This practice will escalate until you are facing your deepest fears, the fear of rejection, the fear of poverty, the fear of death, and meeting them with a devastating, silent neutrality. You will find that when you stop feeding these demons with your fear, they starve, they dissolve, and in their place, you find an endless, renewable energy that does not come from adrenaline, but from presence. This leads to the ultimate identity shift. You stop being a doer, and you become a conduit. You realize that you are not the generator of the power, you are the wire. As long as the wire is clean and open, the electricity flows through it infinitely. If the wire tries to help the electricity, if it twists and knots itself in an attempt to be useful, it creates resistance and burns out. You have burned out because you have been twisting yourself. You have been trying to be the source. Stop. Be the wire. Let the intelligence that grew your body, that beats your heart, that spins the planets, run your life. This is not passivity, it is alignment. When you align with this flow, your words land with the weight of truth. Your actions have the precision of a surgeon. You achieve more in an hour of flow than you used to achieve in a month of forcing. You become a force of nature, inevitable, unstoppable, and utterly calm. People will notice. They will look at you and wonder why you don't look tired anymore. They will wonder why you don't get triggered. They will feel a strange magnetic pull towards you, because in a world of frantic noise, silence is the loudest thing in the room. In a world of desperate beggars, the one who needs nothing is the king. You will walk into rooms and change the temperature just by being there. You will lead without giving orders. You will love without possessiveness. You will live without fear. This is the promise of the void. So here is the choice. You can keep fighting. You can keep polishing your armor, sharpening your sword, and exhausting yourself in the endless war of the ego. You can die like Kojiro, full of potential and technique, but defeated by your own tension. Or you can pick up the wooden oar. You can step off the boat. You can drop the need to be someone and finally allow yourself to be. It feels like nothing. It looks like nothing, but it moves mountains. If you are ready to stop forcing and start flowing, If you are ready to trade your heavy armor for the devastating power of emptiness, then you are ready for the Mind Supremacy Codex. We do not teach you to fight. We teach you to win before the fight begins. We teach you the way of the void. Join us and let us show you what it feels like to hold the whole world in your hands and feel no weight at all.